can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we all go through things. I'm just very vulnerable and open to speak on, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that has dealt with a situation like that.
Go ahead and take a drink if you dealt with that situation like that.
You know? I'm just playing. I'll see y'all.
Hey fam, it's Jazz.
And it's Jaden.
And we're coming to you live.
With the vibe.
Come join the tribe.
What tribe? JJ Tribe? Hey!
Hey, you know.
That's right.
So today, fam, we have another spicy topic and a controversial one as well.
Drum roll, please.
Personal happiness over marriage? So today we're going to be digging into Sharelle Rosado's commentary on her recent podcast, the Humble Baddies podcast. She sat down and she talked with her co-host Ashley and Alexis, and they had some pretty interesting things to say. So we're definitely going to be digging into that today.
Yeah, we got to talk about it. It's got everybody have an opinion. Everybody got an opinion on it, and so do we.
Mm-hmm. Facts. So for the people who don't know who Sharelle Rosado is.
Yeah. Okay, well, Sharelle, am I saying her name right? Or am I saying her name right? Sharelle Rosado. She's, well, from what I know her, she's Chad Ochocinco's wife. And I remember Chad Ochocinco as a football player. I remember when he was Chad Johnson.
Oh,
yeah, he changed his name, to 8'5". That's what Ochocinco.
8'5".
Yeah, but he was an amazing player. But yeah, that's how I'm familiar with her.
Yeah, so I actually got introduced to her on Selling Tampa on the Netflix series. I actually really enjoyed the series. That's why I kind of had a bit of a struggle with coming on and talking about it today. But you know what? If we're going to talk about the men when they fall short, then we got to talk about the women too, right?
Oh, yeah, we got to be fair.
We got to be fair. So, Sharelle Rosado, she is a real estate agent. She owns, she's the founder of Allure Realty. She's a real estate investor and also a vet. So today we're going to be digging into what she had to say about her marriage and cheating as well.
I got to give respect. She's a military vet, so yeah, shout out.
Yeah, she's very successful for sure.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody who served in the military too. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your services. All right.
We got to get credit where it's due. Hey.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So, all right, without any further ado, we're going to dig into the video.
Let's get it, family. Let's see. Let's start right here.
Ever, in any of your relationships, have you ever just wanted to be with somebody else? Like you're in a relationship, you love this person you're in a relationship with, but you want to dip your toe in somebody else.
Us as women, our answer will be different because we are emotional creatures. And I feel like, when I was younger, I used to have the tit for tat mentality, and I cheated on my ex-husband with Chad. I wouldn't say cheat because I mentally checked out.
I understand. So you were almost done with that relationship.
I was done.
So you were.
I was mentally checked out.
Wow.
And I grew an emotional attach. So it was like I was already physically attracted to him. So it just made it even better.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, she said a lot. So she was basically saying that she was mentally checked out of her marriage, that she had already grown an emotional attachment to Chad. So, I mean, does that make it cool? Does that mean, she wasn't cheating? What do you think?
Well, let's get the facts straight.
Mm-hmm.
She said that, I'm paraphrasing, while she was married, she was emotionally attached to Chad Ochocinco.
Uh-huh.
And that she mentally checked out while she was married.
Mm-hmm.
She mentally checked out while she was married.
Man.
That's a problem,
crazy.
family.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's crazy.
The key word is marriage.
Yes.
So, in other words, as she said, she cheated on her ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure I got that clear.
Yeah.
That's what she just confessed to.
Mm-hmm. She sure did.
Yeah. So
does that make it okay because she was mentally checked out?
Absolutely not. 100% not.
Mm-hmm.
No. Marriage is for, I was going to say forever. We don't live forever, but to death do its part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the covenant agreement that we make as married people.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no mentally checking out and cheating on your spouse with somebody else. It doesn't make it okay. You can tell yourself that it makes it okay in your mind. You can convince yourself to believe in whatever you want to believe, but according to a person who loves the Most High, you have a relationship with the Most High. No. Not only are you violating your spouse, but you are going against God. You're disobeying God by cheating on your spouse.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, you're committing adultery, right? It's definitely not okay, And I just find it interesting that she's kind of like making it seem like, well, I was already mentally checked out and I already had an emotional attachment with Chad, but to me that means that you were already entertaining Chad to have an emotional attachment to somebody that's not your husband, right? And it is interesting that you're married and, you're mentally checked out. Well, I mean, did you come to your husband at any point in time to talk to him about this situation? I don't know. It's just very interesting. But I do agree with you. There's never a time when you're married that you could be like, oh, well, I'm mentally checked out now, so that means I can, entertain this person over here.
No, that's not how marriage works. Marriage.
No.
So death do its part.
100%.
I don't know what her understanding of marriage is or was.
All right, fam. So we're going to dig back into the video.
Let's go.
But see, that doesn't feel like tit for tat. It just feels like you was done and somebody else caught your attention.
But at the age I'm at now, I felt like it was wrong because I should have ended that relationship fully.
Yeah, I agree.
I was younger, and at that time, I was focused on myself and trying to get over everything that I went through. And if I would go back, I probably wouldn't have did what I did, but it happened. I can't go back and change it.
Wow, interesting.
It is what it is, and it happened.
Yeah, I mean, at least she admitted that she was younger.
That's true.
And it sounded like that, she said that she wouldn't have done the same thing again. So, I mean, to be fair, I'll give her some credit for that, for that take at least.
Yeah, and I also give her some credit for saying, it didn't make it right? And yeah, I agree, didn't make it right. I don't know. I find it interesting to still be on the podcast talking about it, and then at the end of saying all that, she did say, kind of is what it is type situation where it's kind of like, well, I mean, are you remorseful or are you not remorseful? I don't know. But nevertheless, it makes it so much more important, in my opinion, to make sure that when you are married, to guard your heart, right? You got to protect yourself. You got to protect your heart from being swayed in different directions.
Absolutely.
Yes. In Proverbs 4:23, it reminds us that above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it, right? And so we got to be careful, right? And when we say guard your heart, we're meaning like what you let into your heart, right? So your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, these are the things that you want to protect and you want to guard your heart from, right? So sounds like to me she wasn't guarding her heart when she was entertaining, Chad Ochocinco. But when you're in a marriage, like, you want to make sure that you're guarding your heart. You want to make sure that, hey, I'm not letting anything outside of my marriage come in between my marriage, you know?
Yeah. She did say that she was focused on herself.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it fascinating because in marriage, we're supposed to be focused on each other.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about marriage here. Like, it shouldn't just be about yourself. It is important that we value ourselves.
Yeah.
And, our happiness is important. But we are supposed to put our spouse before us.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I just found that interesting. But at least she didn't seem too proud of what she did. Mm-hmm. So I give her some credit for that. And also like to touch up on the scripture that you point out. Mm-hmm. From a Hebrew mindset, the heart is not just your feelings, and that's why I really like when you that you brought out, babe, that you said you have to protect your thoughts, guard your thoughts, because in Hebrew, from a Hebrew mindset, the heart also involves the mind. So I just wanted to bring that out.
Yeah, fam. All right, well, let's dig back into the video.
Does that affect your relationship now?
With us?
Yeah.
Of course.
So do you feel like Chad may not trust you as much because he knows you was with another?
I wouldn't say it doesn't affect Chad and our relationship, because I told him the reason why I did what I did. Mm-hmm. But it does affect my ex-husband and our relationship. We do have a child together, and
so we are co-parenting.
It does affect a lot. We don't communicate at all. Yeah. I bought my son a phone. That's how we communicate.
I just want to mention this. Whether Chad Ochocinco knew it or not, he committed adultery.
Yeah.
Gotta keep it a buck.
Yeah.
And
another man's wife.
Yeah. So like, we have to do our due diligence to research that out, to find that out. And back in biblical times, if you did that, you were killed. You were done. Yeah, you was put away for that. That was a death penalty.
Yeah, but major offense. For
sure. I know it's a different society now, but we should at least take the principle of it to have that fear of not having or committing adultery with somebody. So. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that. It was just an observation.
Yeah. She said a lot there. She's saying that it's obviously her, cheating on her ex-husband is affecting her co-parenting relationship, right? Her and her ex-husband, they no longer talk anymore. And she says that, her son has a phone, and that's how he communicates with his dad. But as far as her and her ex-husband are concerned, they don't talk at all. Yeah. So, do you think that we should put our individual happiness over our children?
Absolutely. I'm just playing. Absolutely not. I was just see if y'all was listening. Heck no. No, absolutely not. Our happiness is to make sure our children are happy. That's part of our happiness, to make sure that they have everything that they need and more. So,
yeah, our children didn't ask to be here, right? Like, we made the conscious decision and the conscious choice to have children, right? So when you do that, you are making the decision that, hey, like, I'm bringing someone else into this world. I'm doing a selfless act. This should be something that you're doing selflessly, right? And so now, in everything that you do, you have to consider your children.
Yeah, or not.
Or not.
Well, I mean, you do have a choice, right?
Yeah, you do have a choice. Yeah. As we see.
Some kids be bad,
So, yeah, what do some of the parents say? F them kids?
Yeah, forget about them kids. we just jaws it. We just playing with y'all, but yeah, you have to put your kids above yourself. Your happiness should also include your children's happiness. So
For sure.
I just think that perspective, it just sounds selfish in my opinion. Like, I'm not trying to be messy and just talk bad about Sharelle, but man.
Yeah, no, it's true. I do think that we have to be very mindful, especially when we're bringing children into the situation, because as we had discussed in a previous video about Cam Newton and Nick Cannon and, creating broken homes, we were speaking about the negative effects that broken homes have on children. The statistics are clear in showing that children who are brought up in single parent homes are typically worse off than the children who are grown up in homes of married parents, right? So these things have an effect on your children. We might want it to just be about ourselves and how we're feeling at the time, but I do think it's just very important to be mindful. It's very important to be mindful. And this is not to say that we're sitting here saying that you can't take no time out for yourself or that you can't do anything for yourself. Of course not. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that you can't do anything for yourself or you can't have, your own personal time. Of course. And I believe that, if you're in a marriage, you should definitely take time out with your spouse, away from your children. I think that's healthy. But when it comes to, just completely just thinking about yourself and what's going to be best for you and not even thinking about how this could affect your child, I think is very detrimental. And I think it's definitely something that we need to be very mindful of, fam.
Yeah. Question.
No.
I mean, they're co-parenting.
Yeah.
At least they're both doing that. I mean, honestly, what could they really do? What can they really do? Is that all they can really do at this point? To the best ability is to at least take care of the child that they have together?
I mean, that's all they can do, right?
Yeah.
Because
I know they're not on speaking terms, but I mean, honestly, to look at it from her side, because I'm trying to be objective and fair. I'm not just here to just bash, like, that's not my style to be just bashing people, Okay, maybe a little bit, but not completely, right? but honestly, like, what else is she required to do? I mean, it sounds like, she's taking care, she's doing what she can to provide for the kid. Uh-huh. It sounds that way, right? And he's taking care of, who has custody of the child?
We don't know.
We don't know. So, but based on what we hear, it sounds like they're doing their part. I mean, we're kind of assuming that, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, what else can they really do? I mean, they're not on speaking terms, but, I mean, what do you expect? Exactly.
I mean, hey, when you leave a marriage in that type of way, that's what's going to happen, Now, how does that affect the child to see that my parents don't speak to each other? I don't know. How does that affect the child? I don't know how that would make me feel if I knew that my parents disliked each other so much that they can't even have a conversation.
But at least they're taking care of the child,
yeah,
right? I mean, we're assuming so in this situation with Sharelle and her ex-husband.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be messy.
Yeah.
Like, we're assuming they're both taking care of their child, and that's really all you really can do, right?
No. I think that.
You think they have to get along?
No, I don't think that you have to get along, but to say that that's all they really can do, I mean, no, actually.
What else can they do?
Well,
now this got us debate. No, what else? We married, so we know all about having different perspectives.
Yeah, and again, this isn't to bash Sharelle, but I do think it's important for us to have these conversations, right? Yeah. These conversations are affecting our community, so I think it's important to talk about it, right? Well, I think what else she could have done, well, before this, she could have tried to work a little bit harder on her marriage, right? I mean, yeah, now that you've stepped out on your marriage, now it's like, hey, well, what else can you do, right? But again, if we are thinking about our children, then we're going to want them to see, even if things don't work out between you and your ex-spouse, wouldn't you want your child to see that your parents are still at least cordial, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want at least, it's like, what if you have a game, and your parents sit on two opposite sides, And
One's
it's
on
like,
the home, one on the visitor side.
like two opposite
Dang.
sides, and it's just that awkward feeling.
Yeah.
Like you're the child, and it's an awkward feeling because you know your parents got that tension. You know they don't like each other, so it's kind of just like.
Then when they see each other, it's just like.
Yeah. if that, they might ignore each other, you know, because I'm sure he's still pissed off. Like,
good game, son. Good game.
Good game. Yeah. Man,
Not even look. Just,
them family photos gonna be awkward.
for sure.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure. Hey, this stuff happens. I mean, these are scenarios that we think happen, right?
I mean, right? You know, we gotta look at it holistically, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's amazing that they're both taking care of their child, right? I think, you know, as a parent, that's what you should be doing. But I mean, is that the best case scenario? No, it's not the best case.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I said what else. What I meant, what else can they do? Is they're both taking care of the child. Like that's what I meant. I'm not saying you can't undo your wrong. Like all the mistakes we made, we can't change the past. We just have to grow and not make the same mistakes going forward, and see and examine what we can learn from our mistakes. Mm-hmm. So she can't undo her past, and at least she sounds, you know, ashamed of her mistakes. So I give that to her. I'm not just gonna sit here and just bash everything she's saying and taking her words out of context. But however, I mean, it sounds like she's taking care of the child, and he's taking care of the child. We're assuming this. I'm just like, well, do they have to get along as parents? I guess that's my take, my opinion. Like, well, what else can they do?
Hey, them parent-teacher conferences, they just gonna be awkward.
Yeah. So, like you say, at least they should be like cordial. Is what you're saying. Like, but what if but we don't know what's going on? We don't know like what.
All we know is that they don't talk. They don't communicate. From what she said, they don't communicate at all. So, you know, hey, and at the end of the day, I'm not saying that they have to do anything. They don't got to do anything. So
who has to be the bigger person to communicate? Knowing that he got cheated on. Uh-huh. Now, he got cheated on. He got done wrong. Mm-hmm. But we don't know what he did to her that caused her to check out and give up on her marriage. I'm not giving her a pass.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, she sounds pretty bothered about, I'm assuming that she sounds bothered by, you know, not being happy in their marriage.
Well, let's dig.
Guess.
Yeah. Well, let's dig into the video some more and see what she says.
Let's get it. Hold on, fam. Let's go down. Sorry, baby. I like when we start the debating.
Okay. That spices it up for sure.
For sure. All right, let's go, fam.
But it's hard to really explain to him because as a man, their pride is very hard. It's like,
I understand.
You know, you basically, I took care of things you should have, but they don't see what they do. Mm-mm. They just look at what you do, that one thing that you do, and you're the worst person ever.
Yeah. Because men can't take it. They can't take it.
They can't take what they do.
Exactly. They cannot take it.
Men, they can't take it.
They can't take it.
They can't take it.
That pride.
They can't handle it.
At least that's according to Sharelle, right? It's very interesting what she is saying as far as, you know, her ex-husband and how, you know, he can't take it. You know, he could dish it, but he can't take it. And that, you know, when she did one thing, you know, now she's the worst person ever. That's what she was saying. So, yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, but I will say there are a lot of men that struggle with pride. Pride is the devil. J. Cole was right. So I'll at least agree to that. Like, men and women struggle with pride. Mm-hmm. But I wonder, so the reason why she checked out is because of his pride?
I don't know.
Because of his ego? I think having a healthy amount of pride is beneficial.
Yeah.
I think, like, as men, we should have some pride. Like, pride in doing things that are right. Things that are doing, living a righteous lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think we should have pride, like a good, healthy pride, and to be proud of the things that you're doing, and being proud of, you know, being a parent, you know, being a father, being a husband, being a servant. servant of people and of the Most High. Like I think those things we should be proud of. But but yeah, men. At times, yeah, the pride can really get to a person. So yeah, that's from her perspective that he had a problem with pride. It sounds like.
Yeah, from her perspective, that's what she sounds like. She said, and
so it sounds like he said like he said like she's like the worst person in the world. Like when they go back and forth, right? When he struggles with his pride. So I guess we're assuming that he made her feel really low or made her feel bad. I know these perspectives are different. You probably didn't expect me to look at it objectively, but I'm just trying to look at it like from her side to really try to understand the situation. So.
Yeah. No, I think it's great, to look at it from both perspectives, because hey, you can get a lot more out of it when you can actually kind of dig in there, right? So yeah, well, like you mentioned, she did talk about he was to blame, for the most part for the pride. Like he couldn't handle it, right? So
did that cause him to be verbally abusive?
I don't
know.
Now
we're making assumptions. Now we're just throwing. To me, it raises more questions.
It does.
It's like the more this video is going on, and the more questions I have, like it's not really bringing a whole lot of clarity. Because it's like, so what do you mean by pride? Like what do you mean? Like can you elaborate? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that brings me to some questions I have.
We're like investigators now. Like, okay, his pride was a problem, and pride is a problem. Pride is the devil, but can you be more specific?
Yes, 100%. So, should men be to blame for women stepping out on them?
Should men be to blame for women stepping out on them?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying husband and wife, or just man and woman in general?
Because we're talking about her situation, and she was a wife, and she stepped out on her husband. Let's go with husband and wife.
Husband and wife? Okay. Should men be to blame? Yeah, there's some blame, but ultimately, yes or no answer? No. No, the individual who cheated should be to blame. It's that person who did the fault. Can we be honest now? I just want to be honest.
Yeah.
No, she stepped out. She's wrong. But I'm not going to say that he was 100%. Like he had nothing to do to cause it.
Like he was perfect.
Like he's got some influence behind it, for sure. I can agree to that. But to say that he's guilty, that he's wrong. So when I hear should men be to blame, when I hear the word blame, I'm thinking like wrong, like you broke a law. I'm looking at it more from like a biblical perspective. At least that's my attempt. Like, because when you read like the laws in the Bible, it's like specific, like, okay, this person did wrong, so this person owes this person. They gotta, pay for the damages. So I'm looking at it from a biblical standpoint. So biblically speaking, he ain't to blame. She to blame. But am I gonna be like, he ain't got no like influence that caused it? Like, yeah, for sure. There's something that happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe he was doing everything on his part, and she came along and met Chad Ochocinco, and NFL player. I mean, he's really flamboyant, really outgoing, and he was a superstar and really charismatic. So, was that her reason for cheating?
Okay, I mean, she saw this, She
wanted Chad Ochocinco up close and personal.
It happens. It does happen.
So is this her, rebuttal to cheating? I don't know.
I don't know. I agree. I have no clue, but I do agree with you, right? I think that if we're looking at it biblically speaking, I mean, her stepping out and if you're going to step out on your spouse, you're ultimately to blame, right? Because you can leave. You can leave. If you're unhappy with the situation, instead of cheating on them, you could actually just leave, right? So how can both spouses take accountability for the breakdown of their marriage?
Oh yeah, for the how can they take accountability for their downfall, right? For their downfall. Well, it starts with admitting that you're wrong, and in my opinion, admitting that I apologize, I'm sorry, and that's hard. Like for men,
Yeah.
like it's tough to apologize,
And for women.
and it's hard for men to admit like when we're wrong because of that pride. That's what I'm saying. There's some credence there,
Yeah.
for sure. But I think admitting that you're wrong, not only to your spouse, but also to the Creator, because like on the other hand, how are you going to ask the Creator to forgive you for your sins, but then you did your spouse wrong? Like you sinned against God by doing your spouse wrong.
Yeah.
So the Most High is going to ignore your prayers when you talk about forgive me. Like if you're really sorry, you will go to your spouse and communicate and admit to your faults. To your faults. Like it's tough to be like babe, I'm sorry, I messed up. But it starts with communication.
Yeah.
Communication
100%.
with the Most High, communication with your partner, and not just with the Most High and not communicate with your partner. And that's crazy too. Like, how you gonna like be on your high horse spiritually, right?
Mm-hmm.
You giving the praise of the Most High or whatever, right? That's what you think you're doing. But then like that you did your spouse dirty, whatever it may be, whatever the offense is. Like how you gonna act like you holy, but then your spouse is hurt, and you ain't came to your spouse and confess your sin, your wrongdoing. Like that's like not consistent.
Yeah.
So taking accountability is confession.
Yeah.
We have to confess our sins.
Yeah.
There's a verse in the Bible too. It's always about to confess. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure we can find it, right? But it's like confessing your wrongs to one another.
Yeah.
We have to do that. So we have to confess that we're wrong and put that pride to the side.
100%. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I do think that we have to admit when there's something that we didn't do that was right? We have to confess it. We have to say that to our spouse. You know what? Hey, I was wrong for this, Because usually when there's a downfall in a marriage, it's not just one party. Usually it's not just one person. Usually it's both spouses, right? So usually both spouses are going to have to take accountability for the downfall in their marriage. All right, fam, let's go ahead on and dig back into the video.
The other end of things, I feel like people have to understand, and now I realize this now, that people have like just relationships, not just, sexual or just intimate relationships, friendships, corporate relationships, whatever. It's an expiration date. And I'm saying that to say that we have to be, put our big pants on and just say, you know what, this is not fulfilling me in some kind of way. This is not helping me out. This is not helping me reach my goals, or I'm not happy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we just get in this mundane, day-to-day time of where we're just like, you know what, I'm gonna wake up next to this person. It works. Rent is paid.
I think that is what I was dealing with. Like, I went through so much in that relationship, in that marriage.
Yeah.
I started just, okay, let me just check the box.
Ooh, they said a lot.
What was that?
Man.
That was interesting.
That was very interesting. Alexis, who was talking in the beginning of the clip, she was saying that all relationships have an expiration date, pretty much comparing marriage to a friendship or a business arrangement. And I find that kind of wild, okay? I'm not going to compare a marriage to a friendship or business relationship. However, we know that you can have friendship in your marriage. You can have a business relationship even in your marriage, right? But a marriage is so much more deeper than either of those two, right? Your marriage is a covenant that you've made with a person, right? To spend the rest of your life with them. So to say that all relationships have an expiration date, I just find wild, honestly.
I agree with her. Yeah, marriages have an expiration date. All relationships have an expiration date. When it comes to marriage, it's death.
Well, hey,
Oh, you said I flipped it. You saw what I did there?
I like
You wasn't
that.
sure where I was going, huh? He was like, what you
No,
mean?
I pretty much figured. But
Oh, you know I'm trying to be slick? She know I'm trying to be slick.
I know my husband.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'm trying. Because I can be predictable. Well, I'm definitely predictable. She knows.
Predictability is a good thing.
Yeah, it's like a certain patterns. We just do things. We do our little rituals. Oh, Friday night I got to put this shirt on.
Mm-hmm. Men are good with their rituals, right?
Yeah. Well, athletes have them too. They have like pregame rituals.
Hey, that gets your body prepared for what you're going to be doing next.
I gotta have this snack at this time, and then I gotta have my cup of coffee at this time from this place. Like, yeah, we all have our little rituals. We're all kind of religious in some type of way.
We're all creatures of habit, right? That's what they say. So,
but yeah, to stay on topic though, I mean, marriages do have an expiration date. It's death. It's not, when you're tired of waking up next to somebody and all the check marks are checked off. Like, what is she talking about?
I mean,
wait, like it sounds like what, you just get bored or something? Is it the boredom part? Well, I mean, there's ways you can communicate and make things more interesting, more intriguing, more spicy. Like, it just sounds like I just don't know what kind of perspective that is. Like marriage is forever. Like, in regards to our life, it's forever. Like, it's till you die. So I don't understand that.
Yeah, I find that. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand that. It was interesting too because she was saying, Alexis, she was saying that you get into like a mundane routine, and you're waking up with the same person every day. The bills are paid, and pretty much like things are going well, right? But to me, that sounds like a blessing, right? I mean, I'm waking up to the same person every single day. The bills are paid. Like, I'm content. I'm happy. Like Sharelle was saying, all the boxes are checked, but somehow, some way, we're making that to be boring, mundane. Yeah. Like, it's like that's a negative thing.
No, it is a blessing. Like we're experiencing, we're living our dream. Yeah. Like, being married, being happy, and waking up to you every day. It's so amazing to we're so blessed, we're so abundant that we can wake up to our partner
it's a blessing.
I don't understand her perspective on that at all.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I just don't know if people really hear themselves when they're speaking. You're saying that you're in a happy, committed relationship. The bills are paid, but somehow, some way, that becomes boring and mundane.
Do you think maybe she said that to get Sharelle to elaborate more, so that way, she's trying to relate, or are they both trying to be relatable to Sharelle, or do you think they really agree with Sharelle?
I believe that they're trying to relate to her, and make her feel comfortable when she's speaking about this subject, because it is a tough subject to talk about, right? So she's trying to, maybe relate to her and say, well, it was just mundane, and your bills were getting paid and all, but that's boring, right? Yeah, I do definitely think that she was trying to relate to Sharelle, but what are we telling our viewers, right?
Yeah, right,
because we're saying this, putting it on YouTube, and what are we telling our viewers? We're telling our viewers that, hey, to be waking up to the same person every day, to have your bills paid and everything checked off on your list, that's boring and that's mundane. I mean, essentially, that's what we're saying.
Marriage is mundane.
It's mundane.
Oh, it's a dreadful jail sentence. Or
man, it's interesting for sure.
I'm living my dream.
Me too.
Waking up to you every day. I'm living the dream.
Me too.
I'm living my best life.
Facts. I mean, man, I feel like it would be miserable to be waking up to a different person every day and then not having my bills paid and then not having all the joys that come with marriage.
No, you can get tired of that.
Man.
No, that's played out.
Played out.
No, you're gonna get tired of that. Look, you know how I know? Because King Solomon got tired of that. So, I mean, he had 700 wives, 300 concubines. He woke up to somebody every day. He had wives. He definitely didn't know their name, I bet.
Yeah.
That's a lot of women. So I guess she just wasn't probably familiar with King Solomon and what he had to go through and how he repented at the end and wrote Ecclesiastes. oh, nothing matters. Everything is vanity under the sun. Like, yeah, his perspective on things was different.
Yeah.
After having all those partners.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's like we should learn from the examples in the Bible,
Right.
and also too, like whether, and I like how you said that, like whether if she's trying to get Sharelle to elaborate more and to not feel left out,
Uh-huh.
you still have to be responsible to your viewers because people are listening to this.
Yeah.
And it just, you sound crazy saying that marriage is mundane.
Yeah.
I don't resonate with that. And yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
For real. Well, how do you think that we can appreciate the everyday joys of marriage?
Keep it spicy.
Mm-hmm.
A romance. And I'm cool with the fact that you allow me to have multiple wives.
You have what?
Yeah, family, I got multiple wives. Because when you put on that red wig,
Oh, yeah.
and then when you do them braids,
Uh-huh.
and then when you wear your hair natural,
Uh-huh.
oh man, you put on them heels and you flip your makeup, you're beautiful without your makeup. Like, I'm dating multiple women. I have multiple wives, family.
Yes, I am every woman. It is all in me, okay?
Yes, hey. Married folks, married men, you know, like,
Gotta spice it up,
Yeah.
you know? Have fun with your spouse, right? Act like you're dating a new person every day, right? Like you're trying to still win this person over. I think sometimes we get so caught up in our day-to-day, okay, we gotta pay the bills, okay, we have to, take the kids here and there, that we forget about each other and we forget about what made us come together in the first place. Like, why we ended up doing this in the first place, right? It's the pursuit of each other.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We gotta keep pursuing each other. Just because, we're married now, we just have to give up. Okay, well, the chase is gone. No, the chase, keep chasing.
Uh-huh.
Keep on chasing. And be willing to even do things that, hey, might be a little bit embarrassing or a little bit, uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying nothing crazy now. I'm not, be mindful, okay?
Uh-huh.
Because it can turn into some craziness.
That's a fact.
Yeah. But I believe in spicing things up.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we meet your wife at the bar
Yeah.
and act like she's a new person.
Remember that show? It was a show.
Uh-huh.
It was a show. You remember it was?
Yeah, I forget.
Like married couples would do stuff like that. Like they
Uh-huh.
pretend to be different people.
Uh-huh.
It's like role play, right? You call that role play?
Yeah, role play.
Do some role play.
Uh-huh.
And then like, yeah, we we like what we see, right? So like we're very visual,
Uh-huh.
right? So like hey, having your wife or encouraging your wife to put something on, or whatever that turns you on,
Mm-hmm. Hey, she, you might want her to throw on that red wig.
Yeah.
Okay, you might want her to throw on them 7-inch heels.
Amen. Hey, you might want to go ahead and buy you that fireman outfit. And buy you some costumes and flip it. Keep things intriguing, spicy. And return the favor. You guys can, give her a dance. Give her in that fireman outfit.
Hey, why not, right?
Show her what you're working with.
Maybe surprise her one day, come home and say, no, babe. You don't worry about cooking tonight. I got something for you.
With the rose petals laid out on the floor.
Spice it up, right? Just because you're married does not mean that you have to lose the spice in your marriage.
Yeah, cooking for your spouse. Yes, it doesn't just have to be sexual either.
The women, we like to be romance. We like the cute little thoughtful things. You come home with some roses or, something that switches up the usual day-to-day that, you thought about me. Like, like, that's so sweet. You thought about me today, right? So, yeah, I think it's just important for us to be mindful about these things. When you've been married, and you've been in it, don't be afraid to spice it up in these different ways.
Surprises.
Yes.
Who don't like surprises? Like, everybody likes surprises, So, yeah, surprise your spouse with gifts. And setting up like dinner dates, like you arrange everything, like reservations made, like
get the babysitter for the kids.
Man, that's right. So yeah, like there's Yeah, that answers that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Stay creative in your marriage. Stay creative.
Facts. Well, let's dig in to the next portion of the video.
Of course.
And that's where communication comes in at, because it's like I can't focus on my kids anymore. I can't make sure, he's happy. I gotta focus on me, because if I'm not happy, he's not happy.
Yeah.
So I felt like if I would have communicated more and exited out of that relationship, it would have been better. We probably would have had a better co-parent.
And you know that now.
Yeah, of course. I have matured. I have learned. I was in my late 20s, early 30s when all that happened. But, it happened. I learned from it. And it is what it is. I can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we all go through things. I'm just very vulnerable and open to speak on, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that has dealt with a situation like that.
Go ahead and take a drink if you dealt with that situation like that.
I'm just playing. I'll see it all.
You understand what's going on.
It's definitely okay, because us as women, we'll make decisions because we're emotional.
Exactly.
We worry about what that man thinks and how they feel and how the kids feel.
And not even making us last.
For us.
Exactly.
So I had to come to a point where I had to choose me.
Yeah.
That's important. That's very important, and it's brave, because a lot of women stay. A lot of women, they deal with infidelities. They deal with just being unhappy, even if it isn't infidelity, like abuse. They deal with things in their relationships, and they decide to stay for whatever reason, for the kids, just because they don't. The unknown,
Right.
They don't know how it's going to be if they leave their relationship. So, that's a very brave move. And, you live and you learn. You made a decision. You found love. Like, it's a beautiful thing. Like, some things, may not start, politically correct, but it is what it is. It's life.
It is. Nobody's perfect. We wasn't born with a handbook on how to deal with the relationships, how to live the perfect life.
Exactly.
So
Woo! A lot was said.
Baby, I need to drink now on that.
I think I might need something a little bit stronger than coffee, though.
Yeah, that's what's in the cup. It's coffee.
Yeah, so she said a lot. What are your thoughts on what she said?
Oh, man. She said she came to a point where she chose me. She chose herself. Yeah, well, she chose Chad over her husband.
Well.
So, right there, I just... like, you can't undo your past, like she said. And Ashley, I thought she made some good points. You live and you learn. But, yeah, she definitely chose herself, and I think that is the problem in a marriage. You chose yourself. Yeah. So, what would you take from this take?
Yeah, I find it very interesting. Kind of how she spoke on the topic. Like she said, hey, she can't change it. There's nothing she can do about it now. But. I don't know. I just feel like they're kind of making it seem like, well, it happened, and, I just have to choose me. I have to do what I have to do for myself. And it goes back to that, like, individualism that we have as a society right now. It's all about ourselves. They were speaking about, well, hey, if you're no longer happy, happiness, our moods are going to change throughout our marriage, throughout the day, right? You're not going to be happy all the time. In your marriage, you might not be happy all the time, right? But at the end of the day, just because you're not happy in the moment, it doesn't mean that you should just give up. Oh, well, I'm not happy right now. Like, no, why not communicate with your spouse what you're unhappy about? Because what I will say is that she never said that, hey, he cheated on me. My ex-husband cheated on me. My ex-husband abused me. I didn't hear any of those words.
No, I didn't either.
I heard unhappy. I heard, he was checking off boxes.
He was checking off boxes.
He was checking off the boxes.
Man.
But, and I heard...
Such a terrible husband. He was doing everything correctly. He was checking out all the boxes. He's so mundane.
Yeah, so mundane.
He's so planned out. Oh, you wake up to me every day.
Oh man, that's just so boring.
How dare you?
Yeah, it's just, I think we have to be so mindful about the content that we're putting on YouTube for our audiences to view, right? Because we're making it seem like having a normal marriage is boring, it's mundane, and that you just got to do what you got to do for yourself. Because if you're not happy no more, and she basically said, like, well, if I'm not happy, then my kid's not going to be happy. Do you think your kid's going to be happy now that mom and dad aren't together? Like, is that going to make the kid happy? It's one thing if, you're in an abusive relationship. It's one thing if you're in a relationship with a habitual cheater, things of that sort, right? But if we're just unhappy because things are starting to get dull or things are starting to get boring, that's not an excuse, fam. That is not an excuse to step out on your marriage, to step out with somebody else just so you can have that spice, right? Because let's be real, the same thing's going to happen in the next relationship.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's going to repeat if you cannot figure out how to spice up your marriage on your own, right? Like we were saying earlier, there's so many things that you can do in your marriage to spice things up, to keep it fun, Yeah, sometimes you might get in a rut in your marriage where, things start becoming routine. But at the end of the day, just because things are becoming routine, does that mean like, oh man, like, I got to find somebody else to spice it up? Like, no, look within your marriage to spice that up, right? To spice things up. I also think that it's interesting that she said like, oh, well, there's no manual or no book on having the perfect life or the perfect relationship. And I'm just like, has she heard about the Bible?
Apparently she hasn't. Apparently not.
Man, there's so many gems about how to live your life in the Bible, family.
Yeah, the Bible is the handbook. It is the handbook on how you conduct your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to spend a little time and find the plethora of passages that speak about marriage.
And it's easy these days. Go to ChatGPT and just type in verses about marriage.
Yeah, it can create you a blueprint. It can actually create you a handbook from the scriptures.
Yeah, 100%. Anything that you may want to know about, just go to it's so easy these days. Just go to ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to open up the Bible and flip to the pages, guess what? Just go to ChatGPT, type in whatever question you have, and then say in a Bible verse, yeah. And guess what? It's gonna list them out for you.
Mm-hmm. Or you can go there's websites and stuff 50 verses or 100 verses about marriage, and they're gonna give you a list of verses. So that answers that. But I mean, maybe to be objective, maybe she didn't grow up in a Bible believing home. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't. Yeah, I know that in America it's common to see that, but there are homes where people didn't grow up with a Bible in their house. So maybe she came from a different religious background or atheist background. I don't know. I'm just asking questions to why she would even say that. Or maybe she just forgot. Maybe she didn't kind of realize what she was saying. She was just in the moment, and maybe she was not. She was just kind of just speaking and didn't really think about what she was saying.
Yeah, probably. I mean, again, I don't know her spiritual journey, obviously, but in case we are wondering, where we can get the manual on how to live a perfect life, how to live the righteous and upright way. Hey, family, the Bible is there.
Yeah,
we can turn to it.
No, I understand. Like there's people that seem to mess up. Like they give the Bible a bad representation because they're hypocrites and stuff. Like we see that a lot in churches. So it definitely can discourage people to not even want to even read a verse from the Bible because of how they were done wrong. And there's a lot of people that do wrong in the church. You got a lot of these fake pastors. I mean, they're financially pimping people.
That's a fact.
So maybe a lot of us have bad experiences with with church, because I mean, it's safe to say that a lot of these churches is organized religion. So, but it sounds like she doesn't have like a connection with the word of Yah. That's what I get for her to even say that. And it sounds like maybe in her eyes she found a better option and she took it.
Yeah, it kind of sounds that way.
I'm not saying that that Chad Ochocinco was better than her ex-husband, but that's the way it kind of comes off. Like she saw somebody come along that she perceived as a better option.
Yeah, I think so. I think she saw the spice of Chad Ochocinco and how his personality is. And I'm sure that really intrigued her, and
she admitted she was attracted to him.
She was attracted to him.
And he's wealthy too, and and she's very successful herself. So, I don't know, I don't really know anything about her ex-husband other than what we got from this video.
Yeah, it's a fact. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot going on in this sit down that she had on her podcast. Definitely a lot of controversial takes for sure, And hey, you guys might be wondering why y'all going so hard for marriage? Like, why are y'all like really harping on marriage? Well, it's something that has been falling in our community, and we want to see that change, right? Because we know what marriage has done for us, and the blessings that have come from that. And, we want you guys to experience that as well.
Absolutely. If you love the Most High, if you love your partner, if you love our community, you will love marriage.
Yeah.
Marriage is a blessing, and her takes, family, don't follow her. Don't follow her perspective. I know she's just reflecting and giving opinions and stuff like that, but don't take heed to that.
Please don't, family. Please don't. If you and your spouse are struggling with things, turn to each other and turn to the Most High.
That's it.
All right, fam. So we're not going to keep you here all day.
Please remember, family, to like, to share, to subscribe, and comment.
Yes, please do. And until next time, this is Jazz.
This is Jaden. Peace.